Hello and welcome back to another video on Attractions with Ash. Now, first thing you may be wondering, well, we've got a bit of a location change here. Like in the last video, I was sunning it up in Disneyland Paris, having an absolutely amazing time riding Space Mountain, and all of a sudden, I've got this strange plain background behind me. It's all a bit odd, but in fact, I've been back from Paris for about a week now, 8 days to be specific, and I thought I'd do for the final day, instead of doing an actual vlog for it, I thought I'd just do a little bit of a reflection video on the previous 4 days and what I'd possibly do better if I was to go on this as kind of like a solo trip maybe in the future, or for other trips I may do in the future, and hopefully it might help out some of you maybe watching that might be planning your own trips. Who knows? But let's start off with a Monday then, shall we? And it was a pretty sunny day, like it was where I was for my last video in Disneyland Paris, except, well, this was in the UK, so it was a bit odd. A bit odd. We don't usually get nice weather in March, but got some. Maybe it was a good omen on the Monday when I was travelling. It didn't get off to the best start, to be honest. I was a little bit miffed when we got to the airport. I was handed with a baggage charge by EasyJet, and that's where I thought, here we go. This trip is it's just not meant to be, is it? It's not gonna go as well as I thought it would. I was handed with like a 40 quid baggage charge for my suitcase, because and that's the thing I think that's the biggest regret I take from this trip, was taking a massive suitcase, because I was massively focused. I got quite a bit of camera gear for like my G7X, my charger, my GoPro and its chargers, and like all those accessories in my main rucksack, which I took with me like day to day throughout the week. I was mainly focused on, you know, getting all that stuff in. I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to. I need loads of clothes for the week as well. I need one for every day. I'm not going to be able to fit all of it in. That could have been avoided, and probably that early vendetta against EasyJet could have been avoided, which has definitely gone now, because props to EasyJet. I just want to mention, maybe kill two birds with one stone with mentioning the flight back as well. The flight there and the flight back, probably about an hour each, when I was probably expecting about an hour and a half each way from to Paris and from Paris. I have no qualms with EasyJet. You know, I've heard you know, certain stories, certain, you know, memes about EasyJet, you know, being a budget airline, and, you know, Luton and Live Laugh Luton and stuff like that. But I have to say, you know, besides all of that, EasyJet, you know, props, you know, they're on par with you know, out of the 3 airlines that I've flown with, Jet2, Ryanair and EasyJet, they're definitely up there. I'd say up there with Jet2 that I've flown with. And then Ryanair is straight down in the bin for, it just didn't go well with my, you know, trip to Cologne with my family last year. Both flights were delayed quite a bit. The second one, like the flight back to Manchester, was kind of out of Ryanair's control, because I think Mount Etna had erupted or something like that. So I'm not really blaming them on that part, but definitely the you know, the whole communication and everything else could massively have been improved. It just wasn't a good experience at all. But EasyJet up there, I have to rate EasyJet, because I have no qualms with them at all. They've been absolutely brilliant. Apart from the baggage charge, there and back, which definitely was my fault. But I was blaming it on them to begin with, because I was a bit sour and it was still early in the morning. So we move on to the Tuesday, where I massively wish that I'd had more confidence when I was travelling around Paris, because some of the other people that I was sharing a room with, you know, they'd have gone out, they went straight out on the Tuesday, and you know, went to all these different tourist attractions, and I just thought, oh, I'm gonna follow the crowd. I don't trust myself with like Google Maps and stuff like that, because I've had bad experiences in the past with like navigating on foot. Navigating with Google Maps when I'm in a car is is absolutely no problem. I can follow that easy peasy. But on foot, I've had, you know, bad experiences in the past with Google Maps. So I just thought I'm not going to take the risk of getting completely lost. But I wish I had now. I wish I had, because eventually I did pluck up the courage once I'd got more confidence on the Wednesday, and especially on the Thursday when I went to Disneyland Paris. On the Thursday when I was travelling back, I had to find a bar to meet up with the others, and I used Google Maps. I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to use Google Maps on foot here and try and work it out. And no matter how much you try to distract me with like moving about and trying to throw me off, I got there, and I worked it out. So I think that fear, that phobia of using Google Maps on foot is definitely gone now, which is great. But it still was there on the Tuesday, and I'm really frustrated about that, because I could have done so much more. On top of the things I did on the Wednesday and the Thursday as well. But like I say, the Wednesday, you know, I plucked up the courage. I got out early, and I used my 5-day pass. Which that's another positive point to take from that. I wasn't really sure about getting the 5-day Metro pass, because I wasn't sure how much I was going to use it, and it was like 40 quid. That was 40 quid in itself as well as my baggage charge. So, you know, although the Metro Pass, I'm massively glad that I invested in that now, because I did so many things, and I really made my use of that, especially on the Wednesday, because I really made a day of it on Wednesday, and I went to the Notre Dame and the Arc de Triomphe, and also the Parc des Princes as well. That was absolutely amazing. The weather was brilliant, and like I mentioned in the video, that was a lovely lunch I had at that. It was like a bistro place. It was like an outdoor bistro kind of thing on like the corner of a street. It was lovely, absolutely lovely, and I would fully recommend it to anyone. I really want to get onto my extra thoughts. Obviously, I've literally just done a video on Disneyland Paris. Literally a 36-minute video, which is the longest video I've made probably ever, but definitely for a long time anyway. Some extra thoughts on Disneyland Paris, because that was special. That, out of the spontaneous things, like, you know, I'm so glad that I went out on the Wednesday and just ripped that band-aid off and just went to all those places, because if it wasn't for that, I definitely wouldn't have had the courage to go all the way, like a half an hour like express train ride to Disneyland Paris, and it was incredibly worth it. You know, going on an off-peak day as well, 58 quid. That is a really reasonable price for Disneyland Paris. And like I mentioned in the videos from Paris, I was really surprised with some of the attractions like the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower, as how reasonably priced they were. I was really shocked, and you know, of course I gobbled them up, the opportunity to do them. But especially Disneyland Paris, 58 quid to get in there. Mind you, that was just for the one park, but you know, I was as much as I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't get to do Walt Disney Studios and like the Hollywood Tower of Terror and stuff like that. I would have loved to do that, and I definitely will do that next time I go to Disneyland Paris. The 58 quid for what I did, and you know, the day as a whole, it was more than worth it. And I think whilst I've been at uni since September, I've just been laser focused on making smart, sound financial decisions, and that's definitely one of the best decisions that I've made, because if I hadn't gone to Disneyland Paris on that Thursday, I definitely would have regretted it, because I thought I was going to do it earlier in the week, and if I had done it earlier in the week, I probably would have been able to do the Disney Dreams. So weighing it up, that's probably a little bit of a regret. But apart from that, I'm glad I got it in towards the end before it was too late. You know, if I'd have done the same, if I'd have done the same trip last year, for example, I definitely wouldn't have done it. I would have waited and waited and waited, and then the chance would have gone, and I would have flown back being, you know, sorely disappointed, like, oh man, why didn't I take it? Why didn't I take that opportunity to go there whilst I could? But there we go. What a week that was. What a week. And I'm surprised, really. I'm surprised that there are more positives than negatives, because I thought, yeah, being in a big city, I've been in big cities before, like London and Manchester, but a big European city like that, you know, I thought, oh, I'm gonna make loads of mistakes. And I'm not gonna get much done, but I did, and I had an absolute blast over time. And now I'm gonna hopefully conquer more European cities. Maybe Amsterdam is next. Maybe a trip to Efteling is on the cards. Who knows? Wow, I have so much confidence now. But I hope you did enjoy those few videos from Paris. They were absolute joy to film, especially the one from Disneyland Paris. But going to Disneyland Paris now has made me massively more into Disney than I was before, and especially Disney theme parks as well. You know, wanting to go to, you know, the ones in Florida, maybe even California, and across the world now. I definitely need to get my knowledge up on Disney theme parks. But until the next great adventure on Attractions with Ash, I shall see you next time. Until then, goodbye.